Welcome back to the Unprofessional Kitchen, where I'm going to show you how to make great food in an average kitchen. Today, we're making gnocchi from scratch. This is a great recipe to develop your familiarity with cooking with your hands and cooking something from scratch, and it's something that you can make with ingredients that you likely already carry in your pantry at all times. And with that said, let's not waste any more time and get straight into cooking.
Kick off what will likely be the shortest list of ingredients we ever cover on this channel. We're going to start with about 1.5 cups of flour. I'm using 00, but if you can't find it, all-purpose works just fine. And the quantity we end up using truthfully will likely differ slightly in practice for reasons I'm going to explain later. Next, I'm going to use about 4 or 5 medium to large size Idaho potatoes, but feel free to explore a different variety of potato. Then, after that, we just need 1 whole egg, and a couple pinches of kosher salt to season the cooking water. Start by placing your potatoes in a large pot and fill it with enough water to fully submerge them. Place it on the stove and add a good pinch of kosher salt, then cover with the lid and clean up whatever mess you just made when seasoning the water. You're going to let the potatoes sit in the boiling water for about 20 to 30 minutes, or as long as it takes to get the potatoes tender enough that you can pierce them with no resistance. Once that's done, you can take them all out. From that point, you're going to want to start peeling the skins from the potatoes. And as annoying as it might be to peel them immediately after taking them out of the hot water, the reason we do this after boiling them is to prevent the potatoes from taking in too much moisture or getting waterlogged by keeping the skins on. Too much unwanted moisture results in an undesirable texture. Once that's done, we will proceed with mashing process, which is good because it will be a healthy outlet for the frustration that comes from peeling boiling hot potatoes. I like to use a potato ricer for this, but if you don't have one, a good old-fashioned fork will do the trick. I'm just going to cut the potatoes into more manageable sizes so that they fit into my ricer. From there, the process is pretty straightforward. We're just going to pass the potatoes through the ricer until they're completely mashed. Once that's taken care of, set them aside for a few minutes to let them cool off enough that you can work them with your hands and you don't accidentally cook the egg when you add it in. Once they're ready, you can crack the whole egg into the potato mix along with some of the flour, but do not add all the flour at once. Then, with your hand, start mixing everything together. And once it's more or less starting to come together, you can dump it onto your work surface to begin kneading it. It will look like a crumbly mess at first, that's normal, but as you continue to work with it, it will slowly start to come together. And this leads me to the point I mentioned earlier about the flour. The recipe should be used as a general guideline, but depending on variables like size of potato, type of potato, flour, room temperature, all these things will affect the process. So the guiding principle here is rather your sense of touch. You want to aim for desired texture more than anything else. This is why we add the flour gradually and not all at once. The texture we are going for is to be soft and malleable. We don't want it to be too gummy, we don't want it to be too dry. So really the quantity of ingredients is more of a reference here rather than a strict rule. Again, we're aiming for feel and texture. When you're kneading it, you only want to do it enough to the point where everything comes together as a homogeneous ball. We aren't making bread or pasta that requires extended kneading to create gluten chains. In other words, we're not making actual dough. We just want it to come together until it reaches the previously mentioned look and feel. The final product should look something like this: soft, homogeneous. If you press into it, it should leave a slight indentation, but it shouldn't be sticking to your hands. Now that the kneading is done, it's simply a matter of rolling everything into shape. So we'll begin by first dividing the ball into quarters that make it easier to work with in small spaces. At this point, we want to start to roll it out to the desired size. Dust the work surface with flour and roll it to a length that approximately yields a 3/4 inch diameter size, just making sure it's uniform across the entire length as much as possible. Then, from there, you can start cutting them to whatever your desired length is. I like to cut them to about an inch long, but really the size is entirely up to you at this point. Completely optional step, but if you happen to have one of these handy gnocchi boards, you can use it to create those classic indentations. Gently press it and roll down the board like so. This helps each gnocchi essentially hold onto the sauce better by creating a larger surface area. Once you've shaped and cut all your gnocchi, add them to a boiling pot of water seasoned with kosher salt. Let them cook in the pot for about 2 minutes, but you'll know when they're done when they start floating to the surface of the water. Add and cook them in at a handful at a time. This helps prevent drastic decrease in temperature of the water. At this point, the only thing left to do really is to plate it up. I like to serve it with a healthy amount of fresh tomato sauce and some freshly grated Parmesan, keeping it simple. You can find the recipe for my sauce in the link provided in the description below.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. That about sums it up. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope that this inspires you to go out and try it on your own, and I guarantee you it's going to be better than anything you're going to be able to get at the grocery store. If you like this video, please think about giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. If there's anything that you want me to cook, you can leave it in the comment section below and I can show you how we cook it in an unprofessional kitchen. Until then, I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.